Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Waga. We are going to be building the app you can see on your right. The app on your right was an app I made using Flutter, and it's in the first series of videos when I started my channel. This is what we built. We built this app using Flutter and a state management solution called Provider. We're going to build this in SwiftUI, the app on your left, right? And yeah, we're going to, this is the app written in Flutter. We're going to do it all in SwiftUI, and it's going to be considerably less code. And if you're interested in seeing how we built the app, you can go to my channel and just go to the playlist tab, hit the playlist tab, and at the build Flutter color game with provider, if you click on it, you can see the series of videos. It's not many videos. It's just under 2 hours, and you'll be done building this app in using Flutter and Provider. But that's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to be working with SwiftUI. We're going to be doing the same thing with SwiftUI. And if you can compare it, let me just give you a quick rundown of what the app does. Is first, you should notice that the color, the circle on your left is the same color as the submit button, right? And this is okay. It's actually switched out. I mixed it up. It should be, the submit button should be the same color as the circle you're trying to match, so that when you submit, you hit the button, you look if the colors are the same on the other one. And the reset is just supposed to return the sliders to 0 and give you a new color. So for example, if you want to match this color, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, and hit submit. We'll get a score. You need to chomp on a carrot, not even close. Apparently the colors are very far apart, right? So we get a message depending on our color, and if we are tired of that, we just hit reset. We get a new color, the new submit button, and the circle returns back to 0. Now if we look at our SwiftUI, the finished article that we intend to build, is you can see that we can't see the circle actually that we're building is because the background is black, right? So what we could do is, because I set the developer options to use the dark theme, right? So if we move these colors, we can just see it. If you move to red, you can see it, and we can move it to white. So basically that's that. Yeah, we're matching this, and we can see the value here. Like we can see it like same. We can see the values here. So if we hit submit here, instead of getting a message like we do in the Flutter app, we get a number of stars. It's either going to be 4 stars all the way to 1 star. So if we hit this, we'll get a number of stars. So we hit submit, and apparently our colors are very far apart. We get a 1-star performance. We're not happy with that. We come back and we say this is closer. We hit this. We get a 2-star performance, and the goal is to get a 4-star performance, right? So, and we don't like this color. We have apparently it makes us look like we're colorblind. So if we hit reset, we should get a new color, and the sliders returned back to 0. One thing you'll notice in this two apps that is different is that the thumb color in the SwiftUI is white, and the thumb color here is the color that it shows. The truck color, you can see all the truck colors are the same color as what they represent, right? Of course, here green comes before blue, and here blue comes before green, but it's more or less the same, right? So the truck color, this is the color at the back, is the same color, but there's no way, I couldn't find a way in the documentation to change the thumb color to the color of the same color as the track, unless you use UIKit, and that is something I will look at the very end. When we finish building, I'll figure out how to integrate UIKit and change the thumb color to make sure that the color, it's as close to this as possible. So yeah, so basically that, and we can hit submit now, and yeah, we get a 4-star performance. Apparently that was close. So yeah, so basically that's the app. This is an alert. You can also see it here. It's an alert. This is more of the Android style alert, and this is the Apple style alert. So basically that, and we are going to be building this in the next series of videos, and I urge you to watch on. Thank you, and let's get to work. So let's continue. So we have our new single view app. We hit next, and we can call it colors, and we don't want to use code data. I was using that for something else, and we call it colors, and we hit next, and make sure it's SwiftUI. Make sure that here it's SwiftUI, and we hit next, and we hit create, and let's just make another one, colors. Let me call it colors 2, like so. because I'd made the original called colors. So yeah, so basically that, and we give ourselves a bit more real estate. We do this, and we do this, right? So yeah, so we basically have that, and we could give ourselves a bit of that. And yeah, so basically we see the hello world. And the first thing we want to do is to create a VStack, which will contain more or less everything. And we could come here and say VStack. And yeah, and the VStack is going to have a spacing. It's going to have a spacing like so. And the spacing is going to be 20. Yeah, and the first thing we're going to have is the very first thing is we would have the words at the top. The words at the top, that is match this color. So we could have a text and come here and say match this color, like so. And we could say this is going to be font size is going to be .large title, and we can also make this bold, like so. And we continue from there. The next thing we need to do is we need to figure out how to put two circles under this match this color. Of course, when you start off with SwiftUI, you put something, it automatically puts it in the center of the screen, which can be good or annoying, depending on how you think of it. Yeah, but that's how it works. So how do we get two circles of equal size next to each other? The obvious answer is to use HStack, right? If you put two circles in HStack and don't give any information about their dimensions, they're going to be of equal size, right? And we could give them also a bit of padding so that they move towards the center and not towards the edges. So for that, we would come here and put an HStack like so, and we could have a circle like so, and give it a bit of padding like this, and it's going to take all the space, right? But if we put another circle like so, and give it a bit of padding like so, we have two equal circles next to each other. So basically that, yeah, so we have our circles. Now the next thing we need to do is figure out how we can put color inside the left circle, right? The color should be random, and that's what we're going to do next. Let us continue. The next thing we need to do is we need to create a function that will produce RGB values of between 0 and 1 so that we can use it to color our circle, right? And for that, we just need to create something that returns a random variable. And we are going to do it in a function because we're going to use it in both the generation of the color of the circle and also when we're resetting. So instead of just calling it every time we reset, we could just create a function. And we're going to make it a static function because it's in a struct so that we can use it. We don't need to instantiate the struct to use it. So for that, we would come to the top of the content view struct like so, and we could say static, if I can just spell it correctly, func. We call it randomizer. If you can come up with a better name, please do. Randomizer, and this one will return a double like so, and all this will just be to return double.random, and the closed range is going to be 0 ... between 0 and 1, like so. So when we get that, we can reuse it in we can call it several times to generate the red, the green, the blue, rather than generating them independently, right? So that's what we're going to do next. And next, we are going to have the various colors that are going to be in our, we could call this circle A, right? The left-leaning circle, the one which will get the random colors, right? So for that, we would come under static, and we could have, we're going to use a state variable because we're not going to let it be, what's it called? We're not going to let it be a constant because we want to reset it if we choose to do so. If you can go back to our finished app, you see after you mess around with it, you also want to be able to reset it. So that's why we're not going to use a let, we're going to use a var here so that we can actually do that. And we are going to say var, it's going to be red actual, and this is just going to call the randomizer so that we can get a random red color. And we're going to repeat it for the others. Var green actual, and this is also no prizes for guessing, and we could just copy this and we could copy it, and we could come down here and we could paste it, hit tab, and make this red, green, blue actual, like so. So this is going to give us the various red, green, and blue random numbers between 0 and 1 that we can use to color our circle. And that's what we're going to figure out how to do next. Continue. Now, the next thing we could do is we could figure out how to put the color in the left circle, right? The one which will be giving us the color we're trying to match. So for that, all we need to do is just come to the circle, hit a modifier called .fill. Somebody suggested in a video that I should be putting the modifiers on different lines for ease of use. So I think I'll be doing that. In fact, I've not been doing that. I should be doing that. So we come here and do that. So we'll be putting the modifiers on different lines so that it can be easier for people to follow, right? So we will do that. So, okay, which is a good suggestion, by the way. So we would come and just before padding, we would put a modifier called .fill. And .fill, we could put in a color here. And here we could have a color like so. And the color could take in some values. That is red, which is a double, green, which is a double, and blue, which is a double. That's why you see why we get from randomizer a double. So for the red, we want to have the red actual. And the green, we want the green actual. And the blue, no prizes for guessing, we want the blue actual. And you can see already our color changes. So that's how we would get the color from the random color into the circle, right? And now we have to figure out something to do with sliders and how we can get the color here. And that's what we're going to do next. Let's continue. Now, the next thing we could do is we could start putting up our sliders. And the first thing we need to do with the slider is to create a state variable for the double. So we're going to break it up and we're going to put it under here. We could say at state and var, and we're just going to have one slider at the beginning. Red slider, like so, slider, okay. And yeah, it's going to be a double. Yeah, so we have a red slider as a double. And then if we can look at the finished article, we see that there is text here which will have a running total of where the slider is, right? And for that, we come under the H stack. We could have those two together. We could have it as a V stack, right? So we could have a V stack here and it could have a text. So originally the text will just be, let's pick a number 225, let's say 225. And we want it a bit big, so we could say font dot large title, like so. And after that, we would have the slider. Yeah, we would have the slider here. And with the slider, the next thing we need to do is, it needs an accent color, right? The accent color, dot accent. Why isn't it helping me? Dot accent color. And this is supposed to be dot red, like so. And yeah, so and it also needs a bit of padding. We could put a bit of padding here. Let's put a bit of padding like so. So we have the padding, and the slider, of course, needs a value, like so, a value. And the value in our case is going to be the $ red slider, like so. So we have the red slider. Of course, it's going to complain because the content view, which generates a preview, doesn't have a value for it. So what we could do here is we could come down here and say red slider, expecting a double. We could have it at 0, right? And it still won't show up because we need to go to the scene delegate. And we go to the scene delegate and you see it's complaining, missing argument. So we would put a red slider here and set it at 0. Like so, and we close our scene delegate. Let's go back to content view. We go back to content view and we try again, hit try again, and we should see our slider. So we have a slider, and if you can, we need to make the preview live. Let's make the preview live so that you can see it. I don't want to put it on the simulator because we have the finished article on the simulator, and you can see the track is the same color, accent dot red. So basically we have that. So yeah, so we have managed to put one slider there, And we're going to see how we can outsource this view so that we can reuse it. We don't need to make another slider with blue, with green. We could just use one slider, fix all the variables, and sort it like that. So we're going to outsource this, and that's what we're going to do next. What we're going to do is we're going to come to the VStack and command click it, and we're going to extract the sub view like so. So we're going to call it sliders. Give it a more creative name, right? And after we call it sliders, what we're going to have is we are going to come to the top here, and we are going to have user binding. I've talked about binding in a previous video, so that we can have access to the value at the top. So we could say binding, and this is going to be var value, and this is going to be double, like so. Yeah, and it's complaining here because we are using red slider. We could have here value like so, and we could have another thing. We could have something else here. We could have a variable. We could say var color like so, and this is going to be a type of color like so. And we could have also for the text, we could have var text I called it text color. Okay, text, let's just call it text color like so, and this is going to be a string. Yeah, and we would come down here, and now we can start using them. We of course need to pass it up here. Let's first pass in put in quotation marks that are required. This is a string after all, and we use interpolation for having here the text color that we're going to use, right? And after that, we're going to have a bunch of brackets. We're going to have the text color, a bunch of brackets, and we're going to use a bit of interpolation. This is going to be let's put this like so. I hope we have all the brackets are there. We have an integer here, and in the integer we're going to have we're going to multiply the value. We could say the value, we're going to multiply it by 256, right? We say 256. We multiply the value by 256, right? Yeah, and after that we would have the, I think we need a, do we need another bracket? We need another bracket there, and after that, yeah, that's basically it. And we come down here, and it is missing the various values on the slider. So we would come to the top of the slider here, and we would pass in the various values we want to use for the red, particularly the red. Let's have the red, and then we can do the rest. We have red, and the value for red is going to be $red slider, and the color is going to be .red, and the text color is going to be red. This is supposed to be a string rather, so for that we just do red. So if we do this and we hit resume, we should see, yes, we do have our red. Yes. Now the thing is, now that we have created a reusable, let's give ourselves a bit less space like that. And let's look at the finished article. It's coming along fine. It's coming along fine. And yeah, and we should do this for the others. So what we could do is we could just copy this. Let's hit copy, come down here, do this, and do this, and this will be green, and then this will be blue, like so. So we have red, green, and blue, and we could just copy. Of course, we need to also come down here and say green, green slider. This is green slider, and this is going to be initialized at 0. These are doubles, so we should have 0.0 actually, but 0 would work. Let's have 0.0. And this would be blue slider, which is also going to be 0.0, like so. And after that, we could copy this. Let's copy the sliders. Copy it like so, come down here, paste it, and this is going to be red, green, blue. So this is going to be green slider, and this is going to be green, and the text here in question is going to be green, and the blue one is going to be blue slider, and this is going to be blue for the truck color, and the text is going to be blue da ba dee da 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 ba dee da ba da. Yes, so we have that. And before we forget, let's try to hit resume. Oh yeah, we have to go to our scene delegate. It's going to complain, and we pass in the various values. We could have a green, it's a slider, right? So we put 0.0, it's a double. And here we also put 0.0, although 0 would work. And finally, after green, we have what color? Blue slider, and this is 0.0. So we should see, if we go back to our content view, 3. Yes, so we have red, we have green, we have blue. Now the next thing to do is to hook this up to the second circle, which we're going to do next. Continue. First things we could do is we could give ourselves a bit more real estate. And how do we get the colors here? I'm already forgetting our rule. Okay, no, the modifiers are on the same line. Okay, I don't do different modifiers. Okay, so what we would do now is let's put the modifiers in different lines here. I already forgotten legibility, working towards legibility. And font here, we could have it in a different line, like so. So yeah, so we work towards legibility always. Now, how do we get the color here? Well, it's basically following the same script that we did in the first circle. And we would come here, and after the circle, we would put a new modifier. We would say fill, like so. And in the fill, we would have a color. And in the color, the red is going to be red slider, no prizes for guessing. The green is going to be the green slider, no prizes for guessing. And the blue is going to be the blue slider, like this. So if we do this, I believe if we move this here, this should turn red. If we move this here, it should turn green. And if we move this, it should turn blue. And I've already seen the first data. And you can also see the numbers running, right? We should multiply this by 255, not 256. The total colors are 255, not 250. 256, but it starts off at 0, right? So it's 256 in total. So you should multiply that by 255, not 256. Basically, yeah, basically the hard work is done here. And yeah, and we will continue from there. The next thing we need a bunch of buttons, right? And for that, we come here and say button. And I think that's the last visual thing we need, really. It's a button, and we could have the action here. Action, and yeah, like so. And we come here, and we're going to have the text. And we could have, which one comes first? Submit or reset? Submit comes first. So we come here and say submit, like so, submit. And we also give it a padding, because the current button, we want it to have a bit of a capsule-like shape, right? And we can do that with a bit of padding. We could say edge inserts, and we could have a top. The top can be 16. The leading can be 24. The bottom can be 16, and the trailing, well, you guessed it, 24, like so. Submit. And the background color is going to be the background is going to be a color, and the color is going to be we could say red, and the red is going to be red actual. We want it to be the same color as the circle that you're trying to guess. And the green is going to be green actual. Let's slide that green, otherwise it will be changing all the time. Green actual, and the blue is going to be blue actual, like so. Yeah. yeah, and we could have a foreground color. We could make give it a foreground color of about we need to give it a corner radius. Let's give it a corner radius, right? And to make it a bit rounded, and the radius is going to be infinity, like so. And after that, yeah, so it can be rounded like that. And what's the next thing? We need a foreground color, and the color can be, you could say color.white or just .white. Either works, like so, right? Why is it complaining? Dot foreground color. Okay, yes. Now we have it. Now we have our submit button, and we could extract the view, do the same for the other, but we could just copy it and just paste it instead of extracting the view. Let's just copy this and put another button underneath. We have already seen how to extract a view. And this one is going to be the reset, I believe. Reset. And the color of this, just pick a color. I don't want it to be, or should we make the color the same as whatever is on the, we could actually make it, I guess. Why not? Because here I just picked purple. If you can see the color here, I'm guessing it's purple. The reset is purple. And yeah, but we could make it, let's gamble on it. Let's make it red slider. Green slider, and the blue should be the blue slider, like so. Okay, and I have already forgotten our rule of putting it each on one line. So after background, we should come here and put corner radius underneath it. So we have padding on one line, background on the other, and that. And we come here and we do the same, padding here, padding on one line, background on that, corner radius on the other, and foreground color to be white. Okay, and like so. So yeah, so we've effectively broken it down there. So yeah, and I'm guessing the color is going to be the same, which is odd, but yeah, we could make that. This matches that, this matches that. Yeah, seems better like that. So yeah, so that's how we would have the buttons, and now we should figure out how to set the alert. We should create the alert, right? That's the next thing. The next thing we need to do is for us to show the alert, we would need a state variable, right? And we would have here state, like so, and we could have the variable, it's called show alert, and we're going to put it as false. And then in the button, we're going to toggle it as true, right? And yeah, that's going to be pretty easy. And in what we're going to do in our alert is to show the score. And for us to show the score, we have to check, or rather give the number of stars, right? We could say func stars, like so, and this one will return a string. And let's do this, a string, and this can be a string, like so. And we would come here, right? And first things first is I'm going to use the same formula that I used when I was building it in Flutter, right? So the formula is here, you get the difference. I explain why this is like this, right? We convert everything we multiply everything by 256, because in Flutter we use hexadecimals, and we give, based on the distance, the absolute value of the number, of the color compared to the guess color, or rather the slider color versus the actual color, the absolute distance. You get a value, and depending on how far it is, you get a response, right? That's how we did it in Flutter. So what we're going to do here is basically just use the same logic, right? We could create something called let difference, and we are going to convert it into an integer. What you're going to have is an absolute value, and in the absolute value we are going to have the red actual multiplied by should we do 255 or 256? yeah, it should be 255, 255, like so, and yeah, like so, and we multiply this by the blue actual. The blue actual, we multiply it by 255, like so, and we also multiply it by the green. We multiply this by the green actual, and by 250, we multiply this by 255, like so. And after that, we subtract the red slider, and this is multiplied by, you guessed it, 255, and this is multiplied by followed by the blue slider multiplied by 255, and this is going to be the after the green slider, right? The green slider multiplied by 255. So if you sort that, you get a difference, and we're going to check here what the difference is, right? And we could say if we divide it into 4 quadrants, all the way to like 256 times 256 times 256. So we could say if difference is going to be less than 4194304. If you're really interested in this formula, kindly just check just go to the Flutter playlist, and there's a video called calculating user score, right? It's a very short video, but I explain it in more details, right? Here I'm just guessing you want to get to the end of this, and here we're going to return we're just going to return a string with the number of with the number of stars. So if the difference is very small, that means you're very close to the color. So you should do we should have a star here, and we could have another star. And for you to do this, if you're on a Mac, you just press Control Command and Spacebar, and we have another one, and we could copy this too, like so. Hit copy, and come here and do this, like so, right? And after that, we could say else if the difference is less than 8388608. 8388608. You do this, you return that. We say else if difference is less than, what's the number, 125.829.829.12, return, we could do this, yeah, 2 stars, and then else, that is if it's night and day. You could return a string like this, and that's going to be a single star. So basically, this is what we want to show in our alert, that if the difference is that much or that great, you return that, right? Why is this complaining? Okay, let's give it a bit of space. Okay, fine. So basically, that's what we want to show in our, what's it called? In our alert. When you hit the button, it's going to calculate and give you a star based on how you have done, yeah? And that's what we're going to do next, is to present the actual alert, right? And for that, we would come to the button, the submit button is where we get the alert, right? And because this is in a closure, we say self.show alert, and we change it from false to true, like so. So I put it as true here. And after that, we come down here, and after the submit, we come to just under the padding, and we say dot alert alert, like so. And in the alert, we are going to say is presented, and we're going to bind this to our show alert, like so. And we are going to come here and put our curly braces, like so. And in our curly braces, we're going to have an alert, like so. And here we're going to have a title. The title is going to be a text. The text is going to be just checking on something. It's going to be what's the text? Your performance, like so. And then we're going to put a comma here, and we're going to have a message, and the message is going to be a text. And the text in question is just going to be what did we call this? We call this stars, right? It's going to be stars, like so. And yeah, basically, why is it complaining? Your performance title. Oh, this is supposed to be a text. Sorry. So the title here, we could have a text. Let's wrap it to the text, like so. And like so. Yeah, so let's try again and see if everything is hunky-dory. Yeah, everything is as it should be. And we can now try it out. Let's just try it out. Let's just hit submit. Your performance is 4. Oh, so the initial black is just as good. Okay, let's move this to all green and hit submit. Okay, why is it only... Okay, I'm not getting a different value. I'm starting to question my... Okay, let's go all white and see. Yes, so we've gotten 1 star. Okay, so yeah, so basically that. And if we reduce blue, and yeah, 3 stars. So we have a number of stars that are shown in the alert depending on our performance. So yeah, so we know our rather long formula is working correctly. And oh, I see the mistake here. We have all green. We should have we should change the track color. Let's just correct that next. As you notice, the track color is all of them are red despite the color. So what we would do to correct it is just come to the sliders, the extracted sliders view, and here we would just type in text color. Is it text color or color? I think it's color. It's color, like so. And if we hit that, we should get a blue, a green, and a red. So yeah, basically that's all that is done, and all that is left to do is to hit the reset button so that we can get all the sliders at 0 and a new color for us to guess. That's what we're going to do next.
Let us continue. Now the thing left, I think, is to create the reset function, the function that will reset. Let's just resume this so that we can see our simulator. And for that, we come down here and we could say func reset, like so. And basically what we're going to do to reset, if we can look at the finished article, is that when you bring the various colors to whatever value and you hit reset, you get a new color, and the slider will all go back to 0, right? And for that, we could just use the randomizer function first for the sliders. So for that, we would say red actual, and we would set this to content view dot randomizer, like so we can access the static. And we'd do this 3 times, right? We'd copy this, come here and paste it, and paste it again. And here we would have green actual, and here we have blue actual, like so. So if this works, we should reset after. Wait, is this live? Let's make it live. Let's make our preview live, and move this, move that, move this, and hit reset. Oh, we aren't calling it, I forgot. Let's go back to the button. The button is reset, the reset button. And for that, we just come here, and because it's in a closure, we have to say self dot reset, like so. So if we do this, and hopefully it should work now. So if we hit reset, and again, seems like there's an issue. Why isn't it self.reset? Okay. Oh yeah, it is reset. I'm waiting for the sliders to move, but the color is actually changing. So it is resetting. I have not yet set the sliders. Okay, let's do that. Let's now deal with the sliders. Now for the sliders, it's a bit easier. We could just set the blue slider, and for that we would just make it 0.0. And we could copy this twice more. Let's just copy twice more. And come here. And this is going to be red slider and green. The order is not the same, but I'm guessing it'll work. So now we should see, now it should reset and we should get a new color if all goes according to plan. Yes, we get a new color. This changes, this becomes black. Let's do it again. And of course the proof is in the pudding. Now let's try to run our app on the simulator. Okay, so yeah, now we're seeing the app. Let it load. And yeah, and we're seeing this, and the resets can't be seen, okay, in the dark background. But anyway, as you move the colors, the reset becomes more visible, like so, right? Like so, like so. So if we hit submit, your performance is good. Okay, let's try moving it a bit. Let's do that. Still a 4-star performance. It's hard to get a 3-star. Let's do still 4. Okay, let's go all the way. I'm trying to get a 3-star. I can't get a 3-star. Okay. Okay. Let's make it all white. 1. Okay. Still a 1-star. Okay, yeah, that we get a 1-star performance. And if we hit this submit button, which now can't be seen because of color, that's the pitfall of changing the color. But anyway, let's just do it. And yeah, and we see the reset. It blends in with the background, so you can't see it. But yeah, so basically we have done we have replicated most of the functionality of the original app. So we have built out our app. We've finished it, and all the features are there except the thumb color, and to use thumb color we would need to use UI Kit. I have chosen not to include it in this video because I felt that would stray out of the ambit of SwiftUI. But yeah, basically we have replicated everything. We've even made an improvement where the reset button, instead of being stock blue as we did in the Flutter project, we made it match the color of whatever you're matching. So if you change the color here, the button here also changes. Yeah, so basically that's that. And as you can see, it has taken less time and less code to do it in SwiftUI. Anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I will see you in the next video, whether it's going to be SwiftUI or Flutter or even React, who knows.